So, welcome to Creative on Purpose Live, a show for advancing solopreneurs, building a business that fits and funds the life that you actually want to live. If you are looking to make a better living by making a bigger difference, you're in the right place. I'm Scott Perry. I am the publisher of Transcendent Solopreneurship and the creator of the Purpose Driven Prosperity Model. If you want to learn more about any of that, you can just go to creativeonpurpose.com to learn more. I am thrilled today to have my friend, my fellow solopreneur, and fellow Substacker Maya here today. Maya, please introduce yourself to our viewers. Who are you? What are you up to these days? And where can people go to learn more about you and the difference you're making?
Thank you, Scott. Honored to be here. First of all, thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. My name is Maya Sivanova. I have been a solopreneur, copywriter, and content marketer for the past 11 years. It all started on Fiverr for me, where I spent more time than I'd like to admit writing primarily about pages, but content overall for like $5 to $10. And then it dawned on me, if I want to make this work, I really need to learn how to build a business out of it, not just be a Fiverr seller, right? And fast forward to today, I have multiple clients paying me thousands of dollars to work with them on their content, on their sales pages and sales emails, campaigns, and content marketing in general. And it has been a wild ride. I've been featured on Business Insider and Metro UK. And a few years ago, I decided to start actually talking about this solopreneurship thing because I know how difficult it was for me. I started on Medium first, and then I decided I wanted a space that's a bit more specific because on Medium, I kind of wrote about everything. And I wanted to be more specific to solopreneurs, a space where someone can come and really feel heard and understood and be helped. And this is what we were all about. So this is what Scott's all about too. So you can learn more about how I do that on my Substack newsletter, which is Smarter Solopreneurs. And I think this answered your question.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I just quickly want to welcome Elizabeth, Thomas, Nira, Greg to the broadcast. It looks like Greg and another Greg with two G's, and Melissa and Dr. Sherry have also joined. So great to have you all here. I love the little bit of introduction to what you do. You are one of the first people I found when I began my Substack journey, which is relatively recently, about 2 years ago. And I think you and I are very aligned on many things about solopreneurship. I'd like to lead off though with I'm always curious about how people come to this crazy thing called solopreneurship. I'm doubting that little 9-year-old Maya woke up one day and said, you know what I want to do? I want to grow up and be a Fiverr provider or a Medium writer or a Substack writer. How did you come to be doing the kind of work that you're actually doing now?
Thank you for this question. It was really interesting. You're right. No one knows, and especially not in our generation. I think not in people over 30, over 40. No way that they wanted to be a solopreneur because this thing didn't exist when we were kids. So all I knew 11 years ago was that I didn't want to work for anyone ever. It wasn't about changing jobs. I just didn't want to work for anyone else, but I also didn't want to build a huge business. So I didn't want to be in meetings all the time, and because I kind of worked in a startup before that, and I saw firsthand how a business is being built, and it was absolutely crazy. So I was like, what do I do that's sort of in the middle of those things, right? Work for myself, but not have employees and offices and investors and meetings and all that. And that's how I sort of stumbled upon it. And as you said in the beginning, I was just a Fiverr seller. And I don't think anyone should ever call themselves, any solopreneur should call themselves a Substacker, a Medium writer, a Fiverr seller, or whatever else, an Upwork seller. It doesn't matter, a YouTuber. I hate this because you are not that. You are a part of something much bigger. You are a part actually of usually of an industry. For example, if you're a content creator, you're a part of the media industry and you're running a one-person media business. That's what you're doing. And it doesn't matter what platform you're choosing. Today it's Substack because maybe it's best for you, but maybe tomorrow it isn't. And if you know the foundations of how solopreneurship works, and it's different because it's so specific, it's different from being an employee and it's different from being a big business. And if you know how this works, you can take the value you offer and it translates across platforms, and you can use the platforms you want to use the best possible way, or you cannot. You like, I actually always advise people to be very intentional about platforms, not do everything at any cost, etc.
Mhm.
So this is what it is. I feel like it's for us. It's for these rebels kind of people who don't want to fit in this space or in that space, and we want to do our own thing.
Yeah. Well, I love that. There's a lot of things that I'd love to dive into right there, but I one of the things that I love about the beginning of your answer is what I call the identity trap. Like, I'm a YouTuber, I'm a Substacker, I'm a business coach, or I'm a solopreneur even. Like, these are all labels that we put on ourselves that, while they may help someone else put us in a box, they can often put us in something that looks more like a cage or a prison. And I love the idea that you shared of, and this is how I think of Substack. Substack is simply a distribution channel. It's a really powerful one for people that are trying to leverage it in a certain way. It's also a powerful one for, I think, attracting more of the right people for a specific type of writer or business owner. Um, I would love to get your take on why Substack, because you mentioned that you started off on Fiverr and you started off on Medium, but you seem to be fairly invested in Substack at the moment, which is what I am as well. Always with the caveat that I reserve the right to change my mind. But yeah, what do you find most powerful about the Substack platform in general, but the tools specifically that allow you to get the word out and use it as a client or customer attraction engine?
I think the power of Substack comes from the fact that it's such a good place to build communities. And I don't just mean individual newsletters that have the offer of communities within their offer. I mean the Substack community as a whole, because there are a lot of email marketing platforms or newsletter platforms even that don't have that. They give you the technical tools to run a newsletter or emails or whatever. And some of them are even better, for example, in data, in terms of like getting data and building automations and other things. But what Substack does really well is it engages people. So we have a very engaged audience of people here where you show up on notes and sometimes you get more traction than you would get on Facebook, for example, because it's a very specific group of people, and just the level here is different. It's not just anyone. They don't talk about just anything. Substack actually started as an alternative news sort of kind of thing, like let's say an alternative media outlet, right? Where like a lot of journalists that came from legacy media came here to be independent journalists and get paid and make money reporting things their own way. So that's how it all started. But then it grew into this thing where everyone could now talk about things the way they wanted to and actually monetize it, and grow an audience versus doing these things separately. So before, because I've been in like since before I was a solopreneur, I was in marketing still. So I know what it meant to build an email list and to monetize it. That was insane effort, right? So you had to first of all be on social media, maybe even advertise something, do a freebie thing, launch promos, get people's email addresses, then send them stuff to sell them things, right, that you don't even know whether they want them or not. They segment lists based on what people clicked on and what. It was so complex, just required such knowledge about technology and marketing. And Substack does this entire thing. So I guess it's two things. First is the community part of it, and then the other thing is that they combine a lot of features
Mhm.
and make it very easy for everyone, which is great.
Yeah, I love that. I think I'm totally on board with the thing that struck me most when I first came here is that, having built a very successful business in a financial sense, using power offers and Facebook ads and the typical kind of digital marketer approach to things, um, I also found it to I found myself creating a business that I didn't really find very fulfilling, in part because I was doing work I didn't really care about, and if I'm frank, so often working with people I didn't really care about that much, because the ads and the algorithm skews the audience, and people are basically on social media as either a form of self promotion or a place to get distracted from doing meaningful things. Substack, in general, the audience are readers, which in my estimation makes them a little bit smarter, to reference one of my favorite publications, and um, and a little bit more engaged. They're coming here to search for things, to find answers, to connect with uh, meaningful content that will help them achieve aspirations or solve problems or so forth. So, I really, I have found that building a new business here on Substack over the last few years has led to much more fulfilling work and much not just more engaged, a more engaged audience, but an audience that where we align along values and guiding principles, and I can leverage my talents and skills to help enhance their lives doing work that matters with people I care about. I don't know if you have any additional reflections on that.
No, that sums it up very well. I agree.
Uh, so um, the other, I'd like to also pull on the thread that you talked about, just like your decision. Like I should, where can I find something that I where I'm my own boss? And long before I was a writer or a coach, I had a long career as a professional musician, and I loved doing that because I used to joke, if you're going to work for a jerk, you might as well work for yourself. And so, um, and even though it was a little bit tongue in cheek, I've since learned that you don't actually have to be a jerk if you're going to be your own boss. You can actually be a kind, generous, thoughtful,
Yeah.
intentional human being, empathetic, and so forth. But um, there's the freedom of solopreneurship. I'm going to be in charge of my own time. I'm going to be in charge of what I do and don't do. I'm going to be in charge of who I do it with and who I don't. But the flip side of that coin is often we become so free that we choose freedom because we think, oh, now I have to be everywhere all the time, all at once on social media just to get an audience, or I have to do all of these digital marketing hacks and tricks in order to grow a thriving business. And so you spend more time doing things that you would never want to do than you do actually doing the thing that you started your business to do in the first place. And I'd love to hear your story about how did you, if did you find yourself falling into the usual traps that solopreneurs fall into in terms of trying to be everywhere all at once and following the advice? I call it playing other people's game. You follow a guru, you follow a digital marketer, you play their game by their rules. The problem with that is you're not them and it's no longer the past. So you're doing things that don't even work anymore now, and you're doing things that don't necessarily align with who you are and what you're good at, where you belong. And if that's true, how did you iterate and improve your business model, your way of being, so that you could be playing your game and doing more of your thing on your terms without compromise?
Okay, yeah, I get that question. I was definitely there. At one point, I burned out so bad, I just wanted to throw it all away and get a job again, which I find that a lot of people, I find that most entrepreneurs do hit that wall. There's a point where you're like, oh my God, I'm sick of this. And usually that's where it comes. And I think for me, the breakthrough was that freedom isn't about doing everything or doing nothing. Freedom is about choosing your constraints. There are limits there, right? So you could be free to even in life, like you're free to be anything, but can you be everything? Like you can. So you have the freedom as a solopreneur to choose what you want to do and how you want to do it. And the problem is a lot of people don't believe that if they choose something that they will go in there, that they will get the results that they want out of the thing. And it has to do with a lot of unrealistic expectations around people who are trying to sell you courses and programs and promise fast results. And let me tell you, success is never fast, ever, 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 ever. So even on like Substack, I've seen this more times than I would like to. I've seen people bring audiences from other platforms where they built audiences for years and then they say, oh, I came on Substack and in 3 months I'm making $60,000 a year. Well, you know what? F off, because that's not true. And every time I decide to dig deeper, I find that this person has been on different platforms, has had an audience before that. They imported email contacts on Substack. They did something entirely different. So, not to like, this doesn't mean that these people don't have value. They do, but why lie or why try to cover it up? Like, just say it. Just say, I've worked my A off to achieve this. And now I'm transferring it to Substack and look at what it did. Because what this message will do is it will make people sit down and focus on the actual work and deliver the value. So what I'm trying to say is success is never fast. And if you choose what you want to focus on and choose your constraints, so choosing what you want to focus on means also choosing what you don't want to focus on, right? This is very important. And keep at it and keep improving at it and keep doing the work, it will happen. There's just no, like, if it's happened for like thousands of other people or hundreds of other people, why not you? I find that there are three elements, by the way. So the first thing is, has it happened for anyone ever? So that's the first
Mm.
sort of limiting belief there. Has it happened for anyone ever? We go through this one really quickly, right? The other thing is, can I do it? Because maybe I'm not smart enough, young enough, old enough, experienced enough, whatever enough, right? And I've had this, by the way, because I'm from Bulgaria, and I used to offer copywriting services to like big businesses sometimes, right? And I was like, why would they even bother with me? I'm not even a native speaker. Would you hire a writer who's not a native speaker to write your copy? Like, this sounds insane. But you know what? The skills that I've developed as a copywriter, the level of research, of reading data, of like everything else, and combined with the current technology, with like all the tools, be it Grammarly, be it AI, be it whatever you want to do, um, it makes it all so easy. It makes it so practical. So it took me a while to actually get over this one. So that's the first one is, has anyone ever done it? The second one is, can I do it? And the third one is, can I relate to the people who have done it? So is this the type of person I want to be? So when you see someone on the top of the food chain, on the top of the ladder that you want to climb, is this someone that you want to be? And this is something I feel like a lot of people don't think about. They will buy the next course and they'll say, oh, I will make $10,000 this month. And maybe they do. But then on month three, they're exhausted. It's not the work they want to do. They're elbow deep in like refund requests or complaints or like technical issues and all that. They have no idea what they're doing, right? So it's very important to choose wisely what you want to do what you want to do, not suffer from shiny object syndrome, right? To do what you want to do and build a business that compounds. Because if you jump from one thing to another, it'll never compound. And then solopreneurs come to me and they say, oh, I'm sick of having an unpredictable income. So my income goes from like a lot to a little or zero. And I say, it's what's compounding in your business. Is there, because I'll tell you what I do. If I decide that I want more work, I literally have like 50 clients that I've worked with that I can email them and say, I have a space for another project, for another regular client right now. Do you know someone who needs
Mhm.
this service? And like 100% of the time, but until this moment, I have not had a time when no one said yes. There's always something. There's always like, oh, I know this guy, or actually, I was thinking about launching another campaign. Can you help me with it? Or so when you build a business that compounds, then you have options. But when you do different, like this course and that course, and today I build a product and the other day I'm writing an ebook, and then I have a Substack, but then I also have a YouTube, and then I'm also a coach, and then I'm also a whatever. It's really confusing, and then at the end of the day you really have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah, well, you referenced this earlier in our conversation. I just want to circle back and highlight it. When you are talking about being a solopreneur, one of the things that happens that I'm seeing reflected in what you're saying is we look at the people that are successful and we see them everywhere. They are on all the platforms, and they are offering products and services and landing pages with opt-ins and blah, 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 blah. So you end up feeling like, oh, in order to do this thing, I'm going to have to act like a humongous successful brand. And you're acting this way before you even have any sense of who you are, what you're good at, and where you belong yourself. And so there is this element that I have been thinking about since I was very young, um, about knowing thyself, right? This is what it says above the Oracle of Delphi. Like, you actually have to know who you are. What are your values? What are your guiding principles? What are you good at? What are the skills and talents that actually light you up and you're able to bring into the world in such a unique way that you're the best in the world at doing what you do in the way only you can do it. And if you can begin to dial those things in, then it's easier to find where you belong, because you belong with people who share your values and need your talents to enhance their lives. But we are innately status driven social creatures. And so we are comparing ourselves always to the people that are above us and so it's easy to fall into that trap. And you mentioned people that come here from another platform where they've already achieved success, and then they say, oh, in 3 months I made 60,000. Like, my advice is, if someone is sharing their screenshots of their dashboard or their Stripe account, you should probably just stay away, because they're painting a picture that doesn't tell the entire story. So I love that. But there's, for the people, like, I think you and I have been banged around enough and done enough of the internal work. Like, we do have a sense of who we are, what we're good at, and where we belong. And it's been a very hard-earned journey, I'm guessing, for both. Well, I can speak for myself for sure.
Yeah.
I'm guessing for you too. And so there are people in my community, and I want to get to community here in a second too. But Jeff is here, Elizabeth is here, several other members of the circle and the inner circle that are part of the transcendent solopreneurship communities that are kind of at the beginning. Like, they know they have something to bring into the world. They know that they want to build this side hustle or build this business on the side that's going to maybe become a thing that replaces their current career or thing, or maybe just is a hobby, or maybe it becomes just an additional income stream. But in order, at the beginning, what advice would you have for helping someone, um, in the words that I use, become the thing by doing the thing? Like, how can someone start doing something that allows them to become the kind of person that can build the kind of business that they actually want to build and will be proud of?
Okay. So I want to answer and I will explain the story, but a short story. So there was a time after I have two boys, after I had my kids, that I gained a lot of weight and I was really struggling losing it. And then I went on this app, and as part of the app, there was a coach, and I started talking to the coach, and I was like, um, this always happens. Like, I start off well, I start losing some weight, but it's so difficult for me, and I'm a stress eater, and I can't do this, and blah, yada, yada, yada. And then the coach just stopped and said, and it was a messaging thing. So it wasn't like talking one on one, it was a messaging thing. And the coach just stopped and said, you have a lot of negative self-talk around losing weight. And I was like, no, what do you mean? Like, I'm the most positive person in the world. Whatever do you mean? And then I scrolled back, and it was all the things I was seeing about myself. Like, it was difficult. I can't do it. I always fail. This is never going to happen for me. That's it. This is my final way. Like, all the things. And you know what? I've been hearing this self-talk about so many other things ever since she pointed it out. And I just want to say that a lot of solopreneurs have that. A lot of people, like all of us, have that. But in solopreneurship, there's this thing where you don't have a team to fall back on, and you don't have a boss to fall back on, right? So it's you. And that's why self-talk is now much more important than it is for anyone else. And I find that a lot of people struggle to define who they are, not because they don't know, but because they don't let themselves be who they are. They think that this cannot possibly make money, or cannot possibly work, or it just doesn't fit with whatever someone else told them, right, to do, because they bought someone's course or read someone's content. And this person said, you should be posting on Twitter or X or whatever its name is now. I don't know or care. And it's, and to these, I always say, so the first step, if you want to find yourself, the first step is I want you to look at all the creators, because we all consume content online, and especially regarding our businesses, and learn. I want you to look at all the creators who make you feel bad about yourself and honestly just unplug from them. And I know it could be hard because sometimes we're talking about $1 million creators. And it's like, but I want this. That's what I want. But you know what? I'm a copywriter, and I'll tell you something. There are nasty techniques in copywriting. They are really bad techniques in copywriting that are designed to make you feel like you're missing out on something, like you're not good enough, like this opportunity is very time limited, like everyone else is doing it better than you. They are designed to make you feel this way so that you buy. That's what I want you to know. I've done this. 10 years I've done this, right? And by the way, I mean, sometimes the clients want what it wants, but I always sort of try to convince people to not use that and to go positive. Because I feel like these days, maybe these techniques worked better in the past. These days, I don't feel like they work so well. But anyway, let's not talk about this side of things. But what I want to say is just unplug from these creators. Just delete their newsletters. You can return back to them later. Like if you feel like for something specific that like maybe they're a LinkedIn mastermind or maybe they're, and then at some point you're like, oh, I should really, really like include LinkedIn here. Like, let's see what these guys are doing. By all means, but unplug from them. And then what you want to do is find someone, whether it's you or me, because I feel like we are sending out a lot of positive vibes. But then I also don't want to make this, a self-servicing, right? A self-serving life. So you choose whoever you like. I don't care. But find someone who makes you feel good about yourself, who makes you think deeper, who makes you consider different angles and perspectives, who makes you excited about trying something that you've never tried before, not scared or worried, right? And then tune into these guys and consume their content regularly. I'm talking, and I say this to a lot of my subscribers, read my newsletter weekly. I'm not saying it because I want to increase my open rates. I do. But what I really want is your mindset to change, because mindset compounds. You can never change someone's mindset in one go, right? Like, I'm going to give this amazing webinar. It's going to be life-changing. And then poof, the next day you're a new person. It doesn't work this way. But you spend a few minutes every week with someone's content and they make you feel good about yourself. This is what compounds. This is what, week after week after week, you are going to start finding yourself, because these are the people who will teach you how to listen to your voice and not how to hustle and make 10K and, whatever else. And so I hope this answered your question.
Oh yeah, no, it's so good. I mean, this is, it's interesting because I'm sure there are people that see our content or notes or whatever and think of us, oh, just a couple other digital marketers that are on Substack trying to trick people out of their credit card information and sell them something. And I get that. I get the skepticism and the cynicism because, as you were saying, there's been so much bad acting in the digital marketing space, and everybody has been burned by it. And people can smell a funnel a mile away, and that's why nobody's opting into anything anymore. Even if you are a good actor, and as you said, are actually trying to inspire people to become a better version of themselves or to achieve their aspirations or solve their problems with greater ease and velocity. So I get that part of it. I think the distinction that I would share and would welcome your comment on is, first of all, I love what you're saying about follow people who inspire you to be more of what you already are, to become the kind of person that you want to become, not become the kind of person that they are. Because I think that's super important, because in my estimation, the only way to build a preeminent, sustainable, thriving business is it has to be built upon the difference only you can make in the way that only you can make it. You have to have that self-awareness about your talents, your skills, your values, your boundaries and guardrails, the way you want to do business, the way you don't do business, who it's for, who it's not for. You have to have some clarity about that. And that clarity comes by actually doing things. That's part of it. But if you're the distinction, I would say, between the good actors, and I would put you and I in that camp, and the not good actors, and I'm not going to name names, but if they're giving you technical, dogmatic advice about what are very personal and adaptive adaptive problems, then you're in a danger zone, because dogmatic advice, like email's dead, you have to be on Facebook, or Facebook's dead, you have to be on email. Either way, that advice only works if you behave like a dog, if you are obedient and just simply adopt someone else's game plan and someone else's point of view. And so I love what you were saying earlier about, we're all solopreneurs are fraught with all sorts of cognitive biases and distortions, and imposter syndrome is a real thing for all of us. And so it's easy to fall in the trap of just following someone that presents as successful, despite the fact that they're not telling you the whole story, and to just adopt dogmatic technical advice. And you and I have, it sounds like, have both suffered because we've fallen prey to that as well. So the flip side of that I heard in your answer really resonates, because in our community, we often talk about you were born sufficient and whole, possessing everything you need to succeed. The key to your becoming what you want to become probably lies in being more of what you've always been, and to stop doing all the, like, you could probably, I think most of us, and I'd be interested in your comments on this, for people that have been struggling for 2 to 10 years to build a business, I would argue that if you stop doing 80% of the things that you're doing, you would automatically have a more successful business, because you'd be spending way less time and getting at least the same results, if not get amplified results, simply by stop doing all the stuff that's actually cluttering up your system and preventing you from earning revenue or building the community or attracting the audience with greater ease and velocity, by just doing the 1 to 3 things that need to be done to attract the right kind of people.
I absolutely agree. I think the key really to big success is focus. And although we see people, successful people are active on multiple platforms. They offer multiple programs or products. And this could be very confusing for a beginner, because now you think that you have to do the same. But very often they started on one platform and then became huge on this platform. And of course, there's a little bit of luck there. But it's not just luck, it's also focus and determination. And very often, early stories of successful people start with how they wrote a lot of content or researched a lot of things or summarized books for their audience or whatever it is that they did. But it was a lot of effort, right, at first. And I think that focus really is key. And I was actually talking to Richard Millington a few weeks ago. He's also great. He's a consultant for big companies. And he said, one of the things is that when people are asking me how to find big clients, for example, and I think it applies to everything in solopreneurship, and I ask them what they've tried, it's very often, oh, I've read an ad once, and then I wrote a couple of posts and attended one event, and then I did this, and then I did that, and then I didn't get anyone. And he was like, why don't you try let's say you want to attend events because you're good in one-on-one. Like, as you said, we're all good at something already, right? So let's say you are great at one-on-one conversations. You're just this guy, this or girl or whatever. It was likable, easy to talk to, and people are impressed when they talk to you. They want to hire you. Now you're going to line up 4 events this year, and you're not going to waste your time with ads, or you're not going to do bazillion posts online and not be on every social media. You're going to go on these 4 events, and you're gonna invest, if you can, in VIP tickets, because they get you to the most successful people in these events, and to the speakers too, by the way. And I've done this for clients, so I know how these work. And they have like VIP rooms and VIP dinners after the event or whatever. And you're going to go there and you're going to focus on getting clients, and then you're going to make it, and not do like the diluted thing where you buy like the cheapest possible ticket, you don't get to meet anyone, but then you invest a bunch of money in Facebook ads. And then you say, well, I tried this, nothing works. I mean, focus is really a big part of it at every level, whether it's in finding clients and choosing what services you offer, what benefits, whatever it is, right? Focus and you're going to win.
Yeah, I love that. I just want to acknowledge we have a lot of folks coming in. Appreciate you all, but a legitimate superstar himself, David McElroy, has come here. He's a friend of
Right.
yours and of mine, uh, Maya. So I just want to give a shout out to another one of the good ones, David. Great to have you here. Um, so I want to kind of wrap a couple of things together in this next question, because it ties into why one of the strengths I think that's inherent in the Substack platform, one of the strengths of the approach that you and I use, which is and you've mentioned specifically community as a leverage point for uh, attracting the right prospects and helping cultivate them into good fit leads that will become eventually, if if and when the time is right, great clients. That community aspect, I have found, it's something I've been working on since long before I came to Substack, with varying degrees of success. I Since coming to Substack, it's really exploded, in part because of the nature of the audience that Substack in general attracts, and also in the tiered levels of access that Substack provides with, free monthly, annual, and founder paid levels. So I'd love to just, because I think when we're talking about either helping the right people find you or helping you figure out what kind of person, what kind of offer, what kind of thing you're going to do, community is a great place to do that, because you mentioned mindset. And I agree that mindset is extraordinarily important. What I have found myself, and I'm interested in your comments on this, is trying to change my mindset first has never really served me, because you don't change the way you see and be in the world until you actually start to see and be and do things a little bit differently. And so oftentimes it's like, what's that one simple small step I can take today that will be a little bit different than what I did yesterday? Because that's the definition of insanity. If we wake up today and do everything that we did yesterday with the same perspective and the same approach, we're going to get the same results that we got yesterday. If you want different results, you're going to have to see, be, and do things differently. And so sometimes it's just a matter of, and this is not a fake it till you make it preach,
Mm.
because I'm not a believer in fake it till you make it. We have way too many fakes out there already, but to intentionally and vulnerably, with integrity, show up half a shade in whatever way you're trying to achieve. If it's half a shade braver, or half a shade more insightful, or half a shade more successful, like what's that little thing that you can do? So community has been a big lever for me in my pursuit of building a better business by becoming a better person. I would love to hear your take on the role that community has played, because I know it's been really important to the work that you're doing here on Substack, and the work you do in general.
Yes. Community is, wow, it's such a buzzword these days, isn't it? Because since AI came and a lot of people declared courses are dead, another thing that's dead, by the way, if you didn't know. So courses are dead, and now we all have to build communities. And of course, there are a bunch of softwares who are trying to convince you that their software is the best to build a community on. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't build a community. I'm saying that building a community is a very specific thing. It requires a different skill set compared to writing a newsletter. A newsletter and a community, different things. So I would like to just put this out there, because the fact that Substack offers community features, um, I think, confused some people, and they decided that all newsletters should absolutely 100% have a community, and that also that it should be extremely well managed with weekly check-ins or daily check-ins and questions and polls and lives and all that. And it's great if you can do that. If you love doing that, if you have the capacity to do that and want to do that, because I have found that it's effective. Absolutely. But community, keep in mind that it requires you to know how to engage people. It requires you to be very responsive, instantly. I struggle with that sometimes because I'm in my zone when I write and then people are texting back and I'm like, oh, I want to like, and I have like super long message that I want to share with everyone. Like someone writes like 3 words as a response and I'm like, oh my God, I have felt the same way. This is what I did. This is what happened. So I want to have these answers for everyone, and I really struggle with that. I'm an anxious person. I want to do everything, and when I focused on writing and really want to do it well, and then there are these messages pinging, it's difficult for me. So what I want to say is, be intentional about community. It's an amazing tool. But don't feel the pressure to absolutely do it or to do it perfectly or to do it daily or weekly or whatever. Do it when you feel like it and do it when you can give your community your full attention. So that's the idea behind it. If you want to ask a question and then people start answering, you want to be there and you want to be a part of this conversation, not just post and ghost, as they say. And another layer of community is actually getting to know those other writers. And this has been huge for me, by the way, because Substack is where I met you and David and Christina and Veronica. And like, I can't even like, I don't even remember, like, can't even pronounce all their names, but amazing people we have supported each other and worked together. And even some of my literally hero writers like Michael Simmons. This guy, he has, I think, about 200,000 subscribers. He's amazing. And he's written for like Inc. magazine and Forbes and just an award-winning entrepreneur. And it's a guy who I actually regularly message these days. It's like, how are you doing? I love this post. Can you help me promote my program or whatever it is? And it's amazing the type of people that you can actually talk to here. And when you're here, they actually pay attention to you because you're not just some Facebook person who's gonna complain about something or leave an annoying comment on their content or something. But when you're on Substack, people know that you are, as you say, just a tad better than other people, if I can put it this way. It's the simplest way I can put it. No, maybe a tad more involved in this community of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, writers, journalists. And when you're a tad more involved, then maybe you have something to say and you have something to do and you can support someone and they can support you. So there are 2 layers. You can create a community for your subscribers if you want to, and you can learn how to do that, but specifically learn how to do that. Okay. Don't expect of yourself to just come naturally and, just it's so easy. You just message people and it's happening. No, it's not. And it takes some skill and some learning. And also engage with your fellow writers and talk to them and message them and comment. And if you really like a post, if you really like a comment or something, say it. Please, God, like it's gonna make our day. Seriously. I mean, you gotta go out there and say it to the people because it's not all about big creators. We gotta support ourselves while we're. I mean, obviously, there are people here who like I knew David when he started his newsletter and he has like 30 or 40,000 subscribers now. Like, I mean, come on, this is amazing, right? But that's the thing. When you build friendships at this level, and then you see people like really succeed, and you honestly see their success, not in a way where, oh, I make $60,000 in 3 months, but you honestly saw how he's moving up. And you're like, I want to learn from this guy, right? It's amazing. Substack's great for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I love that it actually amplifies something you said earlier about, solopreneurs by and large are doing it themselves, and it is hard to read the prescription from inside the bottle. Like, it's hard to know where your blind spots are and where your missed leverage is when you are stuck inside your head all the time. And so there is that element of community. And I totally agree. Like there are community features inherent in the platform. But again, know your personality and preferences. If you're not the kind of person that likes to begin and stay engaged in conversations, then building a community that's all about that kind of interaction may not be for you. But there's that other layer, and I love that you address this, of here on Substack, because of people like you and David, I feel like I have a connection with collaborators and thought partners who share similar challenges and aspirations and a similar approach, but I'm able uh, to see things from a different angle or see that there's a different approach, and there's that element of it where you can leverage whether you're going to be actively creating a community or actively participating in someone else's community. You can still access collective momentum by surrounding yourself with more of the people that share your values, need your talents, and so forth, and less time with the people that are doing things in a way that you would never want to do them, or thinking things or doing things that you would never want to think or do. So I love that part of it. As we're coming to the end of our time here together, Maya, I love to end these conversations with, you've shared so many insights already, lots of wisdom based on your experience, insights that are going to inspire people to take more intentional action. If there was just one final idea, principle, maybe a quote or a maxim that you have for the folks that are tuning in now, that will tune into the rebroadcast on the podcast later. These are all people that are purpose driven and are either advancing a business that they would like to optimize to better fund and fit their lives, or would love to start building a business like that. What's one final thought that you would want to share with them to help them take a slightly bolder step into possibility and their potential tomorrow?
What I want to say is, don't think of greatness or success as these huge things that where you should be doing more or being more, necessarily. I mean, you have, if not 100, then 99% of what you need already inside you. And the things that you should be doing if you want to get there are actually a lot smaller than you think and a lot more manageable than you think. And sometimes it's as simple as um improving work ethic, or improving technical skills by a little, right? Or improving reading data by a little, or improving, like, it's these little things, that you can literally do. It's not complicated. It doesn't have to be big and huge and all these things that some creators are promising or teaching. Or I'm sorry, I'm literally with the Alex Hormozy book lately, it's been a little difficult. If the first two didn't make you a millionaire, this one sure will. Anyway, so I know a lot of you maybe love him, but what I want to say is, you're enough. So one thing to remember, you're enough. Surround yourself with people who are giving you the big picture and helping you listen to yourself. You don't need another course. You need to listen to yourself more, and find the small things that you can improve and work on, because you kind of know what they are already. Probably you just want to fine tune a little bit and find exactly how to work on them, and find that, and you are good to go. You'll get there for sure.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me of what you said very early on in our talk about the power of compounding. Like these little steps that Maya's talking about compound over time, and it doesn't feel like speed. It doesn't feel like you're making a lot of progress fast at the beginning, but they do. It does come to a tipping point, and things happen.
Be the turtle.
Again,
Be the
exactly,
turtle
exactly.
who gets exhausted and goes to sleep. Be the turtle. The turtle wins.
The turtle wins. That's it. That's our closing comment. Want to thank everybody for tuning in. Maya and I really appreciate the gift of your time and attention. We hope that this conversation inspires you to take a slightly bolder step into possibility, into your potential as a solopreneur. That is building a business that better funds and fits the life that they actually want to have. You can go deeper at transcendental solopreneurship. You can also go to um, successful solopreneur. Do I have that right, Maya?
Entrepreneurs. That's fine.
Thank you. And if you're watching on YouTube, please drop a question, drop a comment. If you're listening as a rebroadcast on the podcast, please give us a 5-star rating and a review. It really helps more of the right people collide with and benefit from this content. And we hope that you're going to take what you learned today to go out and play your game all in and full out. Maya, thank you so much for such a rich and thoughtful conversation. Really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, Scott. It was great talking to you.
All right.
Bye.